All right, we're going to take a look at the changes that were done to the Gambit raids for the second week of Ace of Raids. And the issue with this is that they changed it to be an alliance event rather than individual participation. So if we want to compare apples to oranges, if you will, you kind of have to divide these numbers by 24. Now, this is a good and a bad thing. And I think this is bad for individual players that are playing harder than the rest of their alliance, and the rest of their alliance wasn't doing much, and they could just go through and take as many nodes as possible. Now, this is potentially better for alliances where people are a little bit more homogenous and everybody was playing the same. And the old system was creating problems, and this is the reason why that Scopely said that they changed it, is because there was infighting between people wanting to take more nodes. Now, the math is a little bit better in some situations, but it's worse for other people in other situations. But I'm going to look at the big picture, and like if you're running in an alliance where you're coordinated, the first thing that is drastically different about this is that the raid now runs for 8 days. And so that is a good scenario. So that way it is actually 8 days instead of 7 days. The other thing that makes it actually a better and should make it easier is that the clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades, the requirements there now, there's actually extra characters. So if you're in those lanes, specifically this clubs lane and that one node that we talked about at length with Dorky Dad was bugged out, is going to make that node a lot easier by having Longshot and Beast. Now, how does the math play out? Now, big shout out to Yuletide Bringer, and my understanding is he ran this through Verandius as well. And the math here does look a little bit better. And I'll give you a couple situations where first things first is that the way it was before is that you had to 100% difficulty 6, 7, 8, or 9 to get the bracelet. So we're talking about the bracelet being here in milestone 18 right there. So here in green now, not only, and then the only way to do it was 60% was in milestone 9. So with the new setup, now you can do 100% in difficulty 5 right here, and that'll allow you to get the bracelet. And then also 60% in difficulty 8. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because I misspoke. I thought it was going to be easier for like people doing 60% in difficulty 6, and does not look there. Now, there is a way of running a 9th raid. There should be enough keys for people to run a 9th raid. And so what I was thinking is that maybe difficulty 4, if you can get difficulty 4 and you can run it 9 times, that'll also put you into the green. And then lastly, all the way over here in the bold right here is showing if you want to 100% the entire event. Now, difficulty 6, 100%. Now, with the current setup now, will not only get you to milestone 18, but it'll allow you to get to milestone 19. So in some ways, this is better, but for other people, it is not better. And I wanted to go to Reddit because a lot of people are not really particularly thrilled about this. And I want to just go over a couple of Reddit posts because a lot of these came up just after this came up. Why I hate alliance-based events, Gambit Raid Edition. All they did was change the milestones to either everyone succeeds or everyone fails, right? The point total was like 1-2 nodes less per person per raid, although it also requires 24 people launching those attacks to get those numbers. The change to the Gambit event is beyond ridiculous. Every member of your alliance who now fails to launch their attacks is now impacting everyone instead of just themselves. They never made it nicer for alliances who have 24 members launching max attacks, but for alliances who are missing people for the event because impossible. Yeah. I mean, literally people have reasons why they can't play the game, or alliances are not always at 24 members, right? So that's where it's a big deal. At least when it was an individual, you had some slack, you could possibly save yourself with hoarding rewards from week 1. But now everyone gets to fail together. Now it depends how many people from your alliance were able to save rewards. And I think that what this person is talking about is that they had saved the rewards for themselves, and this was going to benefit them, but nobody else in their alliance saved rewards from last week collectively and enough to be in an impactful way, where they were in a situation where they would have got the Glimmer bracelet by doing it the way they were doing it. But now, if their alliance is not going to participate in the event, they're not going to be able to finish. But now everyone gets to fail together. I'm the leader of a casual alliance who does out the math on these things to let people to let people know that if these things are even possible to play. My alliance was pulling off difficulty 60%. It was going to be easy for anyone who wanted the bracelet to get through it if they saved enough. Now, because I had 2 players drop the game in the last week and another player who just gave up on the event because they weren't going to finish anyways. So that's 3 players short of a full alliance. The remaining 20 people in the alliance have to be told that there's no way of getting it in because the math was done for 24 people all launching max attacks. You guys have to sell those disco ball offers somehow. Yeah, dude, if the math is not set up for 60% unless you're up to like difficulty 8. So that is bad. Where the math, see, this is the problem with the event. The event was bad from the beginning. People were making do based on the information they gave us. Even though they made the event better for some people and easier for some people, the people were planning the event off of the bad math from the first time around so that they could have a good second round, and now they got screwed. So this is a kind of a reoccurring thing that I'm seeing on Reddit, and this is not the one where like, and it's like this one right here, Gambit raids, what is actually going on? So you switch milestones from an individual alliance, but basically multiply the milestones by 24, so it's a wash. That is partially true. Like if you look at the milestone 18 at 191,000 and you divide that out by 24, it comes out to about 8,000 points, where before it required 8,300 points. But still, that requires a lot more coordination, right? Found a way to make people saving rewards for the first week to get screwed over. 0 communication. New community said your alliances suck if you don't get a bracelet. They just don't listen at all. Stop spending money. It's a lost cause. And I'm really worried about this because this is a lot of people are definitely frustrated with all of this. You know, this is terrible. One more one. The solo milestones ended at 10,000 points. The milestone in the Alliance version this week is 10,000 points. So we know they wouldn't communicate what the values were going to be. It says 191,000 for the bracelet. Yeah. That's basically still 8,000, which I just said, except now pushing harder as individuals futile now. Bad change, in my opinion. Same requirement, but now I need all 24 members to also score on my level. I can clear my own lane. Only a few others in my alliance could. Also, if I saved my mail rewards as planned, I could have cleared milestone 20 without question prior to this change. They knew this would not help players, but stop hoarding. They lied and claimed it was to help. And the problem that I have with all of this is that they did not publish the information before it went live so people could actually make a decision. They could have given us the information in the morning and given people at least 8 hours notice so they can make a decision. Now, I do want to acknowledge that this is actually going to be better for some players, but we're actually reading exact cases of some people where it's not going to be better for them. And if this information was made available, maybe it could have been done differently. I don't know. I just feel like this is a super frustrating situation for a lot of people. I think that the Gambit raids overall was an interesting idea, and it was overly convoluted and complicated, and it was not working correctly. And then specifically, the club's lane was messed up with the node, and I'm personally in that lane, and I've really had to struggle, and I had to spend a lot of cores yesterday to get through it because I got the Web Warriors milestone. And so it's just frustrating that this is the way that it has to be, and I know I'm not really thrilled about it, but I feel like the Kraken alliances will get through this one way or another, and the sweaty alliances will get through it one way or another, but the casual alliances that don't have the ability to get 24 people to get through difficulty 5 are just not going to be able to do it. Or if you had players drop out of your alliance, right? Because that could happen too, is that, maybe like this person was talking about 3 people are now missing from his alliance. So that's not going to be a thing. I did a poll on chat on Twitch where I said, what percentage of the players were able to get their alliance to 100%? The Greek raids, which have been out for a long time, and it was like 25%. That's meaning that 3/4 of the player base of people watching on Twitch, which is a higher engaged audience, still weren't able to get it done. Only 25%. So it's just not a realistic thing to get everybody to do the same thing. People have to take time off, or getting 24 people to do everything the same is a challenging situation. What do you think? Are you happy with the changes? technically it is slightly better, but I think for people that were saving, that were in casual alliances, got screwed. Let me know what you think in the content section, in the in the comment section. And as always, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.